Hello guys, welcome to Storytimes. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. Support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I promise, even more interesting stories. Also, let us know in the comments which city you're watching from. Now, let's start today's story. I betrayed my devoted husband Daniel and ended up marrying the man I had an affair with, Ethan. Years later, fate delivered a twist I never saw coming. My closest friend Sarah married Daniel. My ex-husband Daniel and I parted ways in 2019, a decision that seemed right at the time. During the early days of the pandemic, he discovered my infidelity with Ethan, a local bartender. When confronted, I admitted everything, confessing I no longer loved him and wanted to separate. Daniel handled it with remarkable dignity. Our divorce was calm, without bitter fights or legal disputes over assets. We simply moved on. He relocated 2 hours away to a quieter town for a new job and to pursue his PhD while I stayed behind. With Ethan, who later became my husband, Daniel and I agreed to remain civil. I reached out on his birthday, sent holiday greetings, even mailed a gift when he earned his doctorate, but he never responded. Not a single acknowledgement was puzzled me, as Daniel was always considerate, known for sending handwritten thank you notes to friends and family. My parents and his brother mentioned receiving such notes. Yet I got nothing. I brushed it off, assuming he needed time to heal, and focused on my new life with Ethan. He had 2 children from a prior marriage, and with our own child on the way, we were consumed with blending our family and juggling work. Sarah, my best friend since college, lived in the same town as Daniel, a sharp attorney who taught part-time at a local university. She was the kind of friend I could go months without speaking to, yet we'd reconnect effortlessly. When our communication dwindled, I didn't think much of it. Her last message in early 2022 mentioned work pressures, and I assumed she was caught up in a new romance, as she often vanished during those phases. I figured we'd catch up eventually. Last summer, Ethan and I visited the city where Daniel and Sarah lived. I tried contacting Sarah for a quick coffee, but she didn't answer. Disappointed but not shocked, I met up with other friends instead. Then in November, I attended a Thanksgiving party hosted by a mutual college friend, traveling alone. Sarah was there, dressed elegantly, holding a drink by the fireplace. When I greeted her, she seemed uneasy, offering a half-hearted hug. I tried reaching you this summer, I said, keeping my tone light. She hesitated, then said, I was on my honeymoon. Sorry I didn't reply. Honeymoon? I asked, stunned. You got married? She nodded, her expression guarded. When? You never mentioned dating anyone. Then she delivered the blow. It's Daniel. My heart stopped. The room seemed to spin as her words sank in. What? I stammered, but she cut me off sharply. You don't get to be upset. You shattered him. We didn't even connect until years after your divorce. You left him for a guy you met at a bar? Her words stung like a slap. I spent the rest of the weekend drinking to dull the pain, reeling from the fact that my best friend had married the man I once vowed to spend my life with. The man I'd betrayed, yet still thought of more than I cared to admit. Back home, everything felt off. I grew distant from Ethan, irritable with his kids. I pored over old photos, haunted by memories of Daniel's warm smile, the way he'd hold me after a tough day, his quiet forgiveness, and the deeper silence when he couldn't forgive. After weeks of my withdrawal, Ethan confronted me. Our argument erupted into a full-blown fight. I confessed about Daniel and Sarah's marriage, how it tore at me. He laughed bitterly. I've known for months. It's all over their social media. You just didn't want to notice? His words infuriated me. I lashed out. Furious, he kept it from me while I questioned why Sarah ignored my calls, spiraling in confusion. You still love him? Ethan said, his voice cold. I don't, I shot back. But his reply hit hard. If you didn't, this wouldn't wreck you like this? We argued until dawn. Exhausted, I left for work and stayed at my sister's for a few days to clear my head. When I returned, the tension hadn't eased. Another fight broke out, and Ethan accused me of emotional infidelity. Maybe he was right. You're acting like you lost everything, he said. I hurled insults, calling him shallow, saying he couldn't understand because he lacked true friendships. It was cruel, and I regretted it instantly, but the hurt and resentment poured out unchecked. That night, I lay awake, reflecting on my choices. I chased a fleeting thrill with Ethan, thinking it was love, when what I had with Daniel was steady. Profound, real. I discarded it for someone who sparked desire but never truly knew me. Now Sarah had stepped into the life I left behind with the man who sent thoughtful notes, who read beside me at night, who kissed me gently before work. The man I promised to cherish forever. Sarah hadn't reached out because she was part of his world, now a world I'd walked away from. I built a new life, but its flaws were glaring. Karma wasn't loud or vengeful. It was quite a hollow ache of being erased by those I couldn't forget. I craved closure and explanation, but all I found was the stark truth.